A shock name returned after a year away at Ring of Honor's Final Battle pay-per-view. We've got an update on the clearance status of Big E and news of a Backstage WWE Departure. It's time for the news. A few surprises at Ring of Honor's Final Battle last night. Let's talk about one of them to start. Danhausen making his return after a year away from Tony Khan programming. He's not back in AEW, but he seems to have returned to the Ring of Honor brand. It was recently reported, of course, that there were no plans for Danhausen to be doing anything on AEW TV, with his contract set to roll until next year, summer of next year. But then, last night, he appears from under the ring during Mansoor's match with Atlantis Jr. on the show, and then he attacks Mason Madden at ringside, helping Atlantis score the victory. He did the Sting thing as well, with the mask coming off, and it's a Danhausen thing, and it's Danhausen underneath. Beautiful stuff. Putting a curse on Madden after the match as well.
It's about time. It feels like he's been gone for so bloody long.
Well, yeah, over a year without seeing him. Obviously, he's been doing a lot of indies and stuff in that time. I didn't think he was coming back at all. Hopefully, this means that all the drama is done.
Yeah.
Because it's been very frustrating, and I like Danhausen. I think he's like funny, like entertaining guy to have unique, pop up on your TV show. I think that you can overuse somebody like Danhausen. Yeah. He's not somebody that I want to see like every week. But like he's an entertaining guy, and I think Ring of Honor is a good place for him. It feels like they're just going to use him because they're paying him anyway until his contract expires. They
don't want him to have that WCW stay-at-home deal.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But you know what? I'm glad that he's getting used. I'm really glad that
he may as well be being used and being promoted rather than just getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's good value, isn't he?
But it wasn't just Danhausen, was it?
It wasn't. Another shock return to Ring of Honor last night. This is mad. So good. Nigel McGinness returning for a match last night. He was the surprise for Lee Moriarty's open challenge, with Lee defending his Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Of course, Nigel, the longest reigning Pure Champion ever, 350 days he spent with that belt. It's his third match back since returning after over a decade on the shelf. Yeah. He came back at AEW All In, a show that you were there for.
Yeah, the reaction to that was insane. It was just like a wall of noise. It was unreal. I think like usually in the press area, everybody's kind of reserved because loads of people are working, so you don't want to be like scream. But everybody was just mouth agape, just screaming like children.
And he was class as well.
He was unreal, yeah.
He looks in amazing shape. Obviously, he's also had the match with Danielson.
Now he's magical.
And now he's magical. This is like... I'm not sure if this is it for Nigel McGuinness, but if this is the return run, right? The first one, he comes back in front of a massive UK crowd.
Yeah, like
the second one reignites the rivalry with Bryan Danielson 15 years after the fact. And then he gets a Ring of Honor Pure Championship match. That's perfect. If that's it, and I hope it's not because I love seeing him wrestle.
I want to see more.
That's it. Yeah, me too.
It's sort of, it does feel like if this is it, make a bigger deal of it, right? Do a series of matches and let us know when the last one's going to be.
Yeah, I'd be happy with them just popping up every 6 months or so and just having a really good match. I thought
quietly boshing out the bangers. One or two a year.
I genuinely think this one was better than the Danielson match.
Really?
I enjoyed it more. I thought it was brilliant. I really like Lee Moriarty anyway. I think he's class. But I thought this was great last night. He's very much still got it. We've got an update on the status of Big E. He's been speaking on the Mike Broomhead show, and he was asked about his injury, to which he said,
I broke my neck 2.5 years ago in 3 places, including my C1 in 2 places. I still haven't been cleared. Thankfully, I feel great and I don't have any issues, nothing like that. Didn't need surgery. I was in a hard collar for 3 months. There are very real risks. We had a suplex that went wrong and I've been out since. I'm grateful to have no issues, no pain, nothing like that.
Yeah, it's disappointing, obviously, to hear that he hasn't been cleared, but not necessarily surprising. I'm loving the New Day stuff at the moment. What they're doing, the heat that they're getting is absolutely crazy. And I just hope that Big E continues to be a part of that story.
Yeah, I think it's integral that he's still involved in it. Obviously, he can't be there all the time. I imagine he's got a lot going on outside of wrestling right now, but it's one of those things where when he can be used, I think they need to be capitalizing on it because it's just... it's the storyline nobody ever really wanted, but it's finally happening. And
Yeah.
I think it's happening to a degree that people are invested in it. So
Oh man, people are so into it. I'm loving what they're doing with the New Day. I think Big E, I don't want to say it's a waste to just be using him on the pre-show, post-show panels or anything like that. But you could do more with Big E if he's available, if he's able to do it.
It's one of those things where he's a fantastic company ambassador, but if he's able to be central, I think keep him central. It doesn't mean he has to get physical, but I think that having him there constantly is going to help.
Yeah, I really hope he can wrestle again. I mean, stranger things have happened. We've seen so many returns, especially in like fairly recent years. With Adam Copeland coming back, Danielson, Page. We never necessarily thought we would see wrestle again. So it's like one of those never say never things. But if he's not able to wrestle again, what a career he's had.
Oh yeah,
he's done it all, hasn't he?
You can't even kind of like you can't knock it. You can't come close to it. I think like it's one of those where everybody wants to see him work again, as you said, but. If it is it, sadly, at least he's had a hell of a run.
Yeah, and he's still like perhaps the most charismatic guy in the world.
He's not one that comes back every Mania and goes, "I want the main event, please."
No, and he holds such tremendous value in just like being there and doing his thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to wrestle to really improve programming.
No, and he has the audience in the palm of his hand whenever he needs it, right? So it's one of those where like he's so much better to be utilizing, I feel, than not.
Especially with the really emotional stuff, because Big E is 99% of the time like just happy-go-lucky, like silly guy.
Well, he's all heart, but it comes with, you know, like the good and the bad with it, and he's good at portraying both. So,
that's it. When there's something impactful, it's more impactful because it's Big E, who is often like quite zany. Zany is a bad word for it. You know what I mean?
He's wacky.
We finish off with the news of a backstage WWE departure. A NXT creative team member, senior writer and producer for the brand, Jim Smallman, has announced his departure from WWE. He took to Instagram to share the news.
He said, "Yesterday was my last day as part of the NXT creative team, as I resigned from my position as senior writer-producer in order to move back to the UK and be a better dad to my 2 children. This was an incredibly difficult decision. I was lucky enough to work with some of the most talented and excellent human beings on the planet, and yesterday was a very emotional day as I said goodbye, for now, to so many great friends. Alas, it's impossible to be a good dad from 4,000 miles away, and some personal health issues last year put that into sharp focus. It's time to head home and make up for lost time. I wrote 216 episodes of NXT UK, 150 episodes of Level Up. I worked on 190 episodes of NXT, and I lost count of how many in-ring and backstage promos that I wrote and produced. I'm forever grateful to Sean and Hunter for giving me my chance, Johnny and the writing team for being amazing. And Mr. Regal for putting me forward for everything, Joe for showing me the ropes, and to every gifted talent I've worked with in both Europe and the USA. I wish I could have thanked every single person yesterday, but we had a TV show to film. Thank you for tolerating a strange British idiot. I am a very lucky man to have lived this life, but even luckier to be heading home now to an 8-year-old who wants to play Fortnite and Hot Wheels, and a 21-year-old who wants to come to Japan with me. And this might be goodbye to NXT creative team, but not WWE. I hope to see all my friends again down the line."
What a cool career this guy's had.
His trajectory's been insane because he was the progress guy, right? Like that was how most people learned about Jim Smallman. It's like he's the progress guy.
Yep.
And he's just grown into the industry from there.
Yeah, he had the background in stand-up comedy. He was successful there. He was like, it sounds a weird thing to say, he was so over in progress. He had complete command of the audience.
But he was that person in real life as well. I remember meeting him and being like, "There's no way he's gonna." And he was just chill, and it was like, "Oh, you're just that guy, right?"
Yep.
Like.
NXT UK starts up, and he was integral in that stuff.
Like running, even before that though, like running obviously Progress, but arguably the biggest indie or the most popular indie in the country at the time, was one of the biggest boom phases in British wrestling history. Mm-hmm. So like then parlaying that to NXT was amazing. Maybe NXT UK wasn't as loved as you know the classic black and gold brand, but you know he's been able to parlay that into working in the States and going to NXT full time, which is just awesome.
Interesting stuff there at the end. I think this might be goodbye to the NXT creative team, but not to WWE. I hope to see all my friends again down the line. I've got a feeling that he might get involved. Pure speculation, by the way. I've got a feeling he might get involved with a British indie. I was very British there, wasn't I?
British indie.
Who end up, and I'm not saying it'll necessarily be Progress, but who end up being the first WWE ID people, because he'll be able to scout the talent, won't he?
It's the one thing that's currently missing on the UK scene is we don't have an ID promotion.
Yeah,
the UK scene, it's got to happen. But the UK scene is once again bubbling away, and it seems to be growing at like an exponential rate. So it's only a matter of time. And Smallman, with his his prestige and his heritage in British wrestling, he's going to be the perfect guy probably to head that up, as you said.
Yeah, maybe it's less about him being attached to one promotion and him just being the head talent scout for the
He's
UK
the
or
UK
Europe.
rep, yeah.
Maybe, and he just flies about and gets to be with his family and everything.
That'd be a sick job.
That's a dream
just
job.
Like,
that,
what do you want to do this week? I want to go to 16 Carat. There you go. There's your tickets. Take your family.
We should do a Jim Small. We should start another wrestling promotion, and then in 15 years' time, we'll be like Jim Smallman.
Yeah,
playing Hot Wheels and Fortnite,
and we'll be cooler. Yeah.
We're definitely cool. Right, thanks.
We'll be friends with Scroobius Pip and everything.
Yeah, right. Who? No, I know Scroobius Pip. Shaggy, his mate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
This is it. This is it for the news. You've got Tom doing some solo news next week. Just a few of those coming out, but we're off on Christmas break after this video.
Not long till you see us again, though, because we'll be back for World's End.
We will. Myself and Sam doing live reactions to World's End on the 28th.
Yeah, 28th.
Say next Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't even like seeing my family. So have a really, really great festive period. Thank you very much for your support this year. Cheers to everybody who signed up to Patreon once again this year. I hope you're enjoying the stuff that we're putting out regularly on there as well. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, take care of yourselves. Ho, ho, ho. See you in a bit.
Bye.